Greetings. Shop Talk Podcast. Greetings. I'm Norma Jo Thomas, and I am here with my favorite barber, Jemiel Thomas, and we are at the historic Joe's Barbershop, right here in the historic African American community of Acres Homes. Joe's Barbershop is the home of Shop Talk. The Shop Talk podcast celebrates the old school Black Barbershop, where there were conversations about just about everything relevant to the Black community. Tune in to Shop Talk. Greetings and welcome to Shop Talk. I'm Norma Jo Thomas and I am your host. And we are actually at episode 2. This is a 3-episode series called A Shave, a Cut, and Then What? Our first episode, we had a good time talking about the old school Black barbershop and how it was an influence and an impact on the Black community, holding down the community, lifting up the community. And I still have with me my brother Hayter, and I have Jemiel Thomas. So we're going to continue our conversation. So, okay, I'm going to kick this off with this question. Does today's barbershop want the heat? And by that, I mean the heat is addressing the needs of the community, addressing the needs and the concerns and the issues that face Black people. Do we want it?
No.
Why not?
When you become a barber, it's like you take an unwritten oath. You're a barber, you're a counselor, you're a father figure, you're a community leader. If you're not ready to take those roles, you're not ready to be a barber.
Wow.
And a lot of barbers today don't want that role. They don't want to deal with the kid, or he too bad. That's the kid you need to go out there and reach and look at and talk to. You don't want to talk to him, so he don't want to talk to you.
As I think about some of the things that we deal with as Black people in our community, and I think I have to qualify this because, we're not a monolithic people. We have our different morals, different values, different ideas. We're not just one. So based upon what I perceive to be issues and concerns that need attention in the community, I think sometimes I wonder, what would these people say? From the 50s and the 60s and the 70s who were here and they were vibrant and they were live and building families and serving the community. What would they say about some of the things that we're looking at today?
Wow. Where did it go?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah.
Where did the disconnect come from? You have 12 and 13-year-old kids come right here in this shop right now. Everybody in here is 40 and older, and they'll just start cursing and this and that, and no respect. I don't know where that came from. We always respected our elders, no matter what.
Yeah.
And if you say something to them, oh Lord, it's going down.
Yeah.
Well, back in the day, if the 13-year-old would have came in the barbershop acting like that, all 40 of those guys in here would have got a piece of it.
Yeah, that would be the end.
Yeah,
The end
send him back home to his mom.
If you do that now, the parents will call the police on you.
Yes.
And knowing that the kid was doing wrong.
Yeah.
No one to raise them.
So true.
But they were being raised at the barbershop pretty much.
Yeah.
And another thing, like the barbers today, most of the shop that you go to, they don't take walk-ins. You got to go online to book appointments, and I only do appointments. Somebody can walk in the shop, and the whole shop can be sitting down. Can somebody come in? Oh, I got somebody coming. That pushes a person away from the shop. You losing a client. You losing a pillar of the community. You don't know who that person might be.
Because you wait.
Like, you go into a shop, and even if you make an appointment, you got 6 people in front of you. And the respect is gone. If I make an appointment at 10 o'clock, I expect to be in the chair at least by 10:15. But I don't get in the chair till 12 o'clock. You losing the community because you lost the trust.
So let me ask you this. Let's pause right there. So my appointment is at 10:15. And I get there at 10:20, but I'm still sitting there at 12 o'clock waiting to get my hair done. Now, back in the day, that wouldn't have been a problem. Because guess what? I'm connected to the people in the space. So I'm having conversation. I'm buying pickles and pig's feet and all chips and soda. And I'm at home hanging out.
Back in the days, you had people coming to the shop not even getting a haircut.
Yeah.
Just to come in and talk. Just to come in to see who coming in so they can talk to them.
Yeah.
Or if it's somebody that you have a problem with, you come to the barbershop and you have 4 or 5 barbers and y'all talk about it and everybody make their opinion about it and it's squashed. We don't have that no more. We got to get that back.
Well, let me tell you something I saw on Instagram. It was a video. It was in a beauty shop. So the sister's there and she's doing hair. Young lady walks in. She's got the shower cap on, it looked like a shower cap, but I guess it was a bonnet or whatever on her head. She wanted to sit in the chair. She literally told the woman, "You're gonna have to get up because I got an appointment." So the stylist was saying, "No, your appointment." I don't remember the exact time, so I'm just gonna say 9:00. Your appointment was for 9:00. It's 10:15, but I told you I was gonna be late. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to stop taking clients because you're going to be late. You expect me to just stop doing business and sit and wait and that is exactly what that young lady expected. And it turned into an all-out brawl in that beauty shop. And I think because now I've got this heightened awareness. And so when these things come across, I'm watching and I'm thinking, what do we do about this? Or do we? My bishop always says that, we're not going to get everybody. Everybody is not going to come on board, But I often see those type situations and think to myself, what do we do?
The community and the barbershop need to come back together. When I have a wall in my shop where I have kids, it's called a wall of fame. Mm-hmm. I have their pictures up there. If they play sports or they want a spelling bee or whatever, I put them on the wall. And the kids that make good grades, I started off, I would buy tickets for a game and give them to them and their parents take them. But now everything is digital now. Mm-hmm. So I would take like 15 to 12 kids and I'd take them to a game throughout the summer. Mm-hmm. The barbers got to start back being a part of the community. Mm-hmm. A lot of the community don't support the shops because the shop don't support the community. Mm-hmm. Like, if a kid needed a pair of shoes when we was growing up, the shop would come together and get that kid a pair of shoes. Mm-hmm. And that what made the community support the shop. Mm-hmm. If a politician was running for an office, he'll come to the shop. Everybody would meet at the shop for like a town hall meeting or something like that. And that what brought the shop and the community together. Okay. Stuff like that.
Okay.
We don't have that no more.
Okay. And so some of our old school shops that are still in existence, then we've got to rally them. So listen, let me throw in. You're a relatively young man. I'm older than you, so I keep thinking you're younger than you are. But we're just going to say you're in today's, even though you're still in an old school establishment and you still have some old school ways, but you're today's barber. You're today's barber. So what do you think about as a young barber, being able to restore that kind of energy and essence of what that old school barbershop was? Is that something you would want to do?
Oh yeah, something I'm trying to get back now. I need to get out and I guess pretty much like I said, walk the neighborhoods and some kind of way find different angles of stuff to bring the barbershop back up. Mm-hmm. To know that Joe's Barbershop is still around. Mm-hmm.
I'm really loving this conversation because it's solution oriented. And from what I guess what impressed me growing up here, and I guess so these are the things that I remember, the conversations always seemed to be about solutions. Okay, well, what you gonna do? Well, what's gonna happen? It wasn't like, oh, so-and-so did this, and that was the end of it. It wasn't like Gossip Market. It was solution oriented. I mean, I get that we're living in a new world, totally new world, different thoughts and ideas and belief systems, but going back to the core of the matter is that this is an institution whose history says I have held down the community. I have lifted up the community, and I can do it again. You know, and that's that's for me what this is all about. But we have to talk about all these things, and we have to air that dirty laundry so we can get to the solution, so we can figure out, how do we do this thing that we're going to do. So we're going to take a real quick break because as a part of every episode, we want to do an artistic impact. And this episode, we have one of our younger artists in residence, Miss Camellia Mahira Washington. She's a senior at GW Carver High School. And right now she is killing it. She is killing it in the theater game. And she's getting ready to go off to college to one of our HBCUs. But whatever she does, we're going to be supportive because she's extremely talented. And this is what she loves. And we want to share that talent with you. This is our artistic impact for the week.
Have you ever been to a party where there was one fool in the middle of the room, dancing harder and yelling louder than everybody in that entire place? Well, honey, that fool was me. The name's Topsy Washington, and I love to party. Oh, let me tell you about this function I went to the other night, way uptown. And when I say way uptown, I mean way, way, way uptown. Inside was the largest gathering of Black, Negro, African Americans you'd ever want to see. Fat sat down and started working them 88s, and then Duke joined in, and then Miles, and then Ella. Oh, I tell you, all the children was just up in there dancing in the madness until the ground started to shake. And the walls started to split, and we just went flying into space, defying all limitations and logic until it all disappeared in my head. That's right, child. There's a party going on in here. That's because I'm dancing to the music of the madness in me. And here I am, thinking we lost all our drums. But no, we still got them. I know I got mine. Because it's here, in my walk, in my talk, in my style, in my smile, in my God. So whenever you catch yourself trying to define me, just know I'm not who I was 10 minutes ago or 10 years ago. I'm all that, and then some.
The piece says, "And here I am, thinking we had lost our drums, but I still got mine." And I think we can actually take that into our conversation as we begin to kind of wind down this discussion. And that is, am I barking up the wrong tree? Am I passionate about something that the world doesn't need? I don't know. So let's look. Let's take a look at that. Y'all help me examine that. So we're talking about the Black Barbershop as an institution of influence and inspiration for the community.
The young man growing up, the barbershop was the best influence you could ever get. Mm-hmm. Today, the barbers not being the part. They're not setting the bar for the kids. You go in the barbershop today, you have barbers with their pants hanging out down off their butt, cursing, and a kid come in, you talking, you playing music with cursing in it and all that stuff. We didn't have that.
I can remember going to a barber shop. It was not one directly in the community, but it's just a few blocks away, less than a mile away. And when I walked into the barbershop, I knew where I was going. I knew what I was entering. And so I was just there to get my hair cut. And whatever happened, I just thought, let me mind my business. And the music, I'm not one of those people who really kind of gets all up in arms when I hear profanity. It's out there. I'm not moved by it. But the gentleman who was cutting my hair, he told the other guys, he said, "You need to do something with the music." And the other guy was looking. He was like, "What?" And he nodded towards me, and I didn't move. I didn't change my expression. And the young man was like, "Oh, okay. But and as I was on my way out, because when going in, it seemed like I was kind of like maybe one of 3 people in the whole building, and it's a big space. But on my way out, there are more people, who had come in, and different age groups, elders, kids, women with children, the whole 9 yards. And so I thought about, whereas me personally, I could tune that music out. I don't really care. But what about those people who were actually sitting there and had to kind of sit? Because I'm sure once I left out that door, he put that music right back on, and they had to sit there and listen to that. So that's, that's a excellent, again, insight and awareness as to, what it is that we're dealing with. So, but what I hear you saying is that that's a reason to care. That's the reason why, we've got to fight the good fight. What about you, Jemiel? Do you think it's a lost cause, or you think it can be done?
No, it can be done. It can be done. Because we as a people, we always been fighters, pretty much. So we can come together and get it back together. Barbershop can be the community spot, pretty much like a YMCA, but it's a barbershop.
Yeah,
it's a barbershop.
Yeah.
The Black Man's Country Club.
Yeah, Black Man's Country Club. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes when what we see on social media can be very disheartening, and it can make us feel like there's no hope. We're fighting, a lost cause, a losing battle, whatever, and also having to try to respect and accept or tolerate other people's way of living and way of being, and when I'm speaking specifically about, the negativity that we see in our community, the disrespect that we see, the deculturation of our community, not just giving it away, but totally ignoring our history and our heritage, all of that kind of stuff. It kind of makes you feel like, I'm fighting a losing battle. Why should I do this? But again, I want to ask you all, as barbers, what would you do? If this were your mission, what would you do?
Okay. If I would go back to the past, the pastors and the barbers was on the front line. If you had a shop down the street, that don't mean I didn't like you because you have a shop down the street. Mm-hmm. Now it's not a family, it's a competition. Mm-hmm. Instead of competing with each other, we got to come together, and we got to start back being a part of that community, and we got to start back leading by example. If we lead by example, they're going to follow.
Mm-hmm. Where do you think this competitiveness came from? Jemiel say it's in the genes.
Just a natural thing. Want to be top, pretty much like a top dog or something over everything. Say you the biggest man or something.
Well, but let's say, if we're comparing it to our old school barbershops, I know Joe's wasn't competing with, I think his name was Robertson up there at West Little York by the church. He wasn't competing with them. He wasn't competing with it. These guys they were handling their business. So where did genetics was, okay, their particular environments. How they've grown up, how they felt like they feel like they've got to compete for everything.
Get your own, have your own, have the power for everything for yourself, not trying to share pretty much. Mm-hmm. So.
Okay. Yeah. So we've got to address that whole concept of competition.
Back to community.
Mm-hmm. There we go. Back to community.
Family
Back
thing.
To community. Okay.
The other disconnect is the church. You have a lot of these kids don't respect the church no more.
That's true.
They don't go to church. Mm-hmm. They don't even believe in God. Yeah. And I don't know where the disconnect from that came, mm-hmm. but we got to get that back. Mm-hmm. When you start taking God and the church out of the community, it's gonna always be a disconnect. Because if you believe in God, you believe in people. If you don't believe in God, you don't believe in the people. You don't have no trust for nothing.
Yeah. And I think it, no matter what your faith was, it gave you some grounding. You know, if you're in a situation, you have a standard. Something is going to tell you how to respond in this situation. So without that, then you get people who are competing against each other, who feel like they got to be the one on top. Because that sense of grounding, that sense of self is not there. If I'm confident in who I am and what I'm doing, I don't have to compete with you. So again, you were talking about the connectedness to the church. Now let me ask you this, because you brought up a good point. So then we're talking about people, you know, young parents might not take their kids to church. They're young and they're doing their own exploration. They're trying to figure out life, and church is not a part of it. What's the responsibility of the church? Because that's another institution. You know, as I'm examining this and thinking and jotting down ideas, I'm thinking about the church, the school, as well as the barbershop. Those were our institutions. Though the community schools, those teachers cared. Those, going back to the passion, those teachers were passionate about teaching us because they had a vested interest in us. The church, everything kicked off at the church. I remember saying to my bishop one time, when my church was established here in Houston, everybody came from Detroit. And I told them, they were making a statement, and I was like, no, that's incorrect. I said, nothing popped off in Acres Homes if Floyd Williams, and now I'm going to forget all these preachers' names, but over back here toward Lincoln City and Galilee, and if those preachers knew about it, nothing popped off in Third Ward. Unless those ministers knew about it. Fifth Ward over at Kashmere Gardens, the church was the staple in every community. So what do you think that responsibility is?
It goes back to what I just said. The churches are competing with each other.
Oh, shut up. You got to tell me church is competing?
You have pastors trying to get a bigger church than the next pastor. The churches we grew up in were small. Everybody knew each other. You can talk to the pastor. You go to church now, you might not ever see the pastor.
That's true.
So that's another part of the community that's gone. If you were sick, the pastor knew you went at church. He gonna come to the hospital to come see you. The pastor might send a deacon or somebody now, or somebody you never met before come see you. Well, on behalf of the pastor.
I'm in the laugh, but that's crazy.
It's not there no more. Like I say, the people made the community. And the people is forgetting about the community. They forgetting about the other people of the community. And we never had that before. Everybody was together. If you needed something, you can go to the church. The pastor might take a special offering for everybody. And a person, they'll never know who it's for. But now everything got to be broadcast.
Oh, that's true.
We need to help sister such and such. No. We never had that before. Everything was kept in-house. If somebody was going through, the whole church didn't know. You may have one person that gospel and tell everybody, but if you told the pastor something, he helped in confidence. It was in confidence.
Yeah, this has totally rounded out the conversation, and it really kind of spews forward into some of the future conversations we're going to talk about, because we got to talk about education. We got to talk about the schools. We have to talk about the church. We've got to talk about one of our topics is religion in the Black church. What are we doing about community there? So even though my focus is on the reinstitution of the barbershop as one of those spaces, we can't talk about that space without talking about the other spaces, because they all work together. They all work together. Yeah. So, okay, as we kind of bring this episode to a close, this has been some stuff, y'all. Y'all have really shined the light on some things I hadn't thought about, and it's really important to consider when you're trying to I don't know. I guess this is the easy way I can say it right now. You're fighting against such a formidable foe, you know, society and what society has done to us and who we have become, and then also just letting people be people, there's a lot. That's a lot to digest. And so you guys have really kind of opened up, the floor. So before we go, anything you guys want to tag on to this?
Visit Joe's Barbershop, 2034 and a half Ferguson Way, Houston, Texas, 77088.
All right, there you go. Because Jemiel is getting ready. Somebody said they hope that we're not standing on business in 2024. But I'm gonna just go and say Jemiel gonna be standing on business in 2024.
Both feet.
With both feet, 10 toes down. What about you, Brother Hayter?
I think as barbers, we have to find a way to connect together again, so we can be a part of the community. Like, the barbers need to have some kind of union where we come together and we go out to the community and try to help kids, or something like that.
Speaking
go
of
to
which,
the schools or something.
are you a part of? My dad and my uncle were always a part of this organization. It was called the Jemiel, the tonsorial artist. That's really where I learned that word, because I saw it on something. My dad got an award, and I saw tonsorial artist, and I looked that up. I was like, that's pretty interesting. But it's like a what's the word for it, Jemiel?
It's not fraternity, association, Barbers Association.
That's it, Barbers Association. But are you a part of one?
I never heard of it.
Really? Okay. Well then, so now we just brought up another topic. So now we've got to find out where they are. We got to infiltrate and find out what's happening. And again, I'm Norma Thomas, and this is Shop Talk. And child, when we get to talking about the Black Barbershop and the conversations that have gone on in the Black Barbershop to hold down the community and lift the community up, that's some talking that needs to be had. So don't let it stop here. Take it to your barbershop, take it to your beauty shop, take it to your inner circle. And then meet us wherever it is that you watch and listen to podcasts, and we'll be there.
Season 1 of Shop Talk Podcast is funded in part by a grant from the City of Houston through the Houston Arts Alliance.